Wake up, get hype, yo, let's get it going. Saturday, making it awesome. Woo! Let's get it. Are you hyped?
Yes.
I am ecstatic, ebullient in fact. I'm emotionally moved to tears over how felicitous I feel this day. What the fuck am I doing? Oh, Swan, this is cool. So, Swan is a new desktop environment that's based on Cygwin, and what it does is it brings a lot of Linux look and feel and functionality over to Windows, and it's pretty easy to set up. So if you guys are wanting sort of like Linux Lite or Linux Gateway, or you want to try around, try a few things, you just get the idea of how the Linux, I guess the file folders and that sort of thing, the file management works. You can start off with Swan, play around a little bit. There's a terminal, because, Windows technically has a terminal now too. You can go and enable that, but this has your standard terminal. It's based off XFCE, and I'm probably going to go ahead and install this on my machine just to get just to play around with it a little bit. But in my opinion, this looks way cleaner and sleeker than Windows. And, you'll be able to use all your Windows, but it also allows for some Linux environment stuff as well. Check that out. Oh, symbolic links on Windows, and they work. There you have it. Go check out Swan if you like Linux and stuff. All right, today is a sad day. Well, yesterday or the day before, whatever, a sad day. The Senate has decided that it's okay for all the ISPs and everything out there to just freely sell all of your private data, your browsing history, and they don't have to tell you. That's the problem there. There were some privacy rules in place, and the Senate decided, no, we don't need these. We would rather the companies make more money by selling your stuff. And this also is going to open the door for sharing with anything, government officials, FBI, whatever. It's just going to allow all of your data to basically be free to do whatever. You're now a resource for these companies. So you're going to be paying for internet access, and then on top of that, they're going to be making money by reselling all of your personal information. How about that? I think it's time for everyone to get a VPN, and if I were you, I'd call the Ninja Llama. Yes, more on that soon. Now, this has to go through the House as well, but I don't think the House will stop it. I mean, Rand Paul's one of the co-sponsors of this freaking thing, and that's telling you something, because he's usually against these kinds of things. So anyway, all right, we're going to talk about AI for a few minutes. We're going to chew on some AI stuff, like a few minutes. And there's a lot of articles that have been coming out about how AI is going to, of course, supplant the workforce and move everything away. It's the next revolution. We've got the transhuman revolution, and then we also have, it's similar to the industrial revolution and that sort of thing, and then we have the computers and all that stuff. But this is the next thing. It's where the robots come in and take over a large portion of the workforce. But let's go through these things in order. First off, DARPA has said that they have a new lifetime learning project, and they're trying to grow AI from the ground up. And they've got a couple teams working on these 4-year projects where they give machines few guidelines. I mean, if you're a child, you still have guidelines. You still have ways to learn. There are still systems. There's still someone there saying, what the fuck are you putting the thing in the light socket? You're going to be dead. Don't do that. Oh, no, don't pet the alligator. What are you doing? That's a rattlesnake. Don't put it in your pocket, stupid. So there's going to be some people sitting around with this artificial intelligence, telling the artificial intelligence, don't put the rattlesnake into your pocket. That's a metaphor for computer viruses. Don't eat it. Okay, so that's what DARPA's doing. They're working on this, but they're hoping that it will be a totally new way to come at artificial intelligence, allowing the machine to learn and grow on its own. And that's totally different from the way everything's been done, because right now you have to go in and you have to program each individual scenario. If you're a game designer, you have to come in and create the artificial intelligence like, well, if someone sneaks and touches something while they're in sneak mode and it belongs to another AI character, you have to get angry, and that triggers all these things. So they're programming all these crude responses in, whereas this will be more of an organic thing. But it could be completely unpredictable, because each different AI may have different experiences, and maybe we're talking like individuality in robots. So, okay, could be. All right, let's talk about some estimates about automation. So they're saying within 20 years, and you're recording this article, $5.1 trillion of labor is going to be moved from, I guess, people over to robots. And all that money that's going to be saved, thanks to automation, is mostly going to go to the people who are already rich. So it's going to be putting the poor people out of a job who really need those jobs, and all that money they're saving is going right into the pockets of the fat cats. So that's one way to look at it. There's another way to look at this, right? So a lot of people look at these things and they don't have a huge perspective. And I'm going to take a bigger perspective, and I'm going to be wrong on a couple of things, but I'm going to say some sort of outlandish stuff here. So let's say you've got all these robots, they come in and they free up all these jobs. They just fire up, hundreds of thousands of millions of people have just lost their jobs because robots come in and the robotic arms are doing all the work and everything. Well, now these people, they're out there in the world. They can do new things. They can innovate. They can think. They can get back to the roots. They can garden. Maybe some of the people who are working these ridiculous jobs are doing so, and they're unable to have extra time to do what their real calling is. So maybe it'll force some creativity and force some entrepreneurship and force some new ways of thinking, because that's the only way that they're going to be able to survive, is by just really figuring out new modes of creating income and that sort of thing. So there's that. A lot of people probably just gonna be homeless. I don't know, because there's some people who can, some people who can't. It's not gonna be the best for everybody. But for the companies, it's gonna mean productivity is going to go way up. Like a few years ago in Dongguan City, one factory replaced 90% of their human workforce with robots. They make cell phones and stuff like that. Productivity went up 250%, and the margin of error, or I guess the defects and that sort of thing, went down by 80%. So the price on items could come down. We could use all these things correctly if we didn't have idiots in charge to create a Star Trek Utopia society. But then we'll all get together and argue about what do we do about people who don't work. Do we shoot them in the head, or do we let them not work and cater to them and coddle them? Well, guys, we'll have this argument over beers and have a laugh, but not right now. We got one more thing to talk about. So here's the next thing on the list. Some people are saying, well, should robots be taxed if they're taking everybody's job? I'll throw my opinion in on this. A robot should be taxed if a robot is an individual, and if a robot is living on their own or whatever, or acting as a human were. But right now, do you tax your microwave because it's replaced a chef somewhere? Do you tax the factories back in the day that replaced lots of manual labor, lots of like finesse and that sort of thing? Or do you tax that? I don't know. Like that's a weird thing, because it's a machine. It's not a human. Do you tax those things? If they got a social security number, if they're living among us several years in the future, if they're individuals, then maybe you could tax them if they're working for their own. But to me, it's just like taxing a microwave. And that's my stance on this whole thing. All right, so that's pretty much all the artificial intelligence stuff today. I'm curious to know what you guys think about all this. I mean, this is some futurology stuff right here. We're way ahead of ourselves. All right, you guys want to see what games we're playing right now? Do you? We're basically playing everything that's on that damn projector, but let's go over and take a look, shall we? We've been using the hell out of this new projector. We just put up the screen. It's been sitting there forever, and now the office feels somewhat complete. We just need to clean it. But this projector from BenQ, it's a gaming projector, 1080p, and it's beautiful. The response time, it feels like I'm playing on a gaming monitor. It doesn't even feel like I'm playing on a TV. The latency is just not even a problem. It's beautiful and wonderful. So we've been gaming quite a bit on that all week. We've got a video on that coming out very soon. It's a short throw, we should, like most tech people, we get something like, we know how to use this, and just rip it out of the box and start trying to use it, and then we're like, wait, where's the instructions? Because it just, yeah. We thought we could put it way back, and it was like, no, you gotta move that thing way closer, which is kind of a pleasant surprise, but we'd already planned on putting it way farther back than we needed to. But we've got a 150-inch screen, and it looks crystal clear on that. It's only 2200 lumens. But even during the daytime with the windows open, it's a little slightly washed out, but completely usable. It looks nice, and the colors are saturated. And at nighttime, it looks really good. But we just got 2 curtains we can put up, and then we can leave all the rest of the windows open and play it all day long. It's fine. So yeah, I'm loving that gaming projector. Thanks, BenQ. They did not pay for this. Just wanted to say thanks to BenQ for making a nice gaming projector that we can actually use here at the office. Google has a new feature where you can share your location in real time. How long until the creepers hack this? You just basically say, hey, I'm on my way, and you can click share your location for a while, and someone can essentially follow you until you get to where you're going, or you'd be like, oh, which park bench do you want to meet at, like they've got here, and you just tell them where. But it's almost creepy in my opinion. Someone being able to see, like, you tell your friend, like, hey, I'm on my way over, and then you can click a button to, like, share your progress, and they'll be able to see your little icon move around the map. Here he comes.
Click the stalk me button.
See, exactly. It's the stalker button.
Yeah.
Stalk this guy, but the person has to initiate it. You can't have your friend can't initiate stalk and be like, so we saw that you stopped by the liquor store, the cigarette store, the butt store. They have those in some places in the Deep South, I think, right? Some places you have to buy wine and liquor in 2 different stores, and then you got a liquor over here, then you got a wine here, then you got to complain to this guy, buy your cigarettes here, and get your booze and hooker. You got to get hookers and strippers in 2 different places because the law won't allow you. And all your vices have a different store. And then you got the politician who put this bill into place driving around going, why the fuck did I do this? I'm driving around all day to get my fix. Enough of that. Trump signed a NASA, I guess, bill. And he's saying, we want to go to Mars. Now, one thing that you might want to notice here, and he gave him some money and all that stuff to do whatever they're doing. This is I'm going fast right now. Elon Musk took a look at it, and he wants everyone, he's saying, hey guys, take note that while Donald Trump says, hey, let's go put people on Mars, this is not a budget appropriation. They still have to go through the appropriations committee to make sure that that gets funded. So right now it's just talk, and there's no money to back it up. But possibly, and maybe, there will be. Who knows? All right, let's talk about some gaming stuff, and then we've got a couple inbox questions that are better than you would imagine.
Hi, how's it going?
GOG Galaxy, I'm pretty freaking excited about this.
Yeah, GOG Galaxy is a video game platform that is very similar to Steam in a lot of ways, except it's a lot cleaner and DRM free, which is awesome.
Yay! Some people love that hot, sticky, nasty DRM.
Well, yeah.
Some people can't get enough of it, but none of it good old games.
A lot of other people can.
Or GOG, I should say.
Yeah, so the people at GOG have now done a big, huge update patch, the 1.2 update patch, and it's added all kinds of different options and stuff into it, including, let's see, cloud saving, a universal cloud saving server. It's also added chat, bandwidth limiting settings, FPS counter. Aside from the chat, it's also got some sleep mode functions, and it also has like a fully customizable client thing. So you can actually, when you use the client, you can actually customize everything that you want it to do. And then they made like a new interlay and stuff like that too. So it's they've done a little bit of updating just about everything, right from like, quality of life all the way up to like the bare bones of it, which is really cool.
This is real, guys. If you guys want to check it out, you can come over to the website. You have to like opt into it to get their newest stuff. But the full update's going to be rolling out in April. But go ahead and get it now. Why not? And you guys can start testing it out.
We both use it and we both like it.
It's neat. Seriously?
So, yeah, this actually happened. A Malaysian university has offered a course on how to be good at Dota 2. Asian Pacific University of Technology and Innovation has offered their first class on teaching you how to actually be a functional human being at Dota 2.
That's such momentary knowledge that it's weird for me that a college would. Usually they're planning for your future. But this is not about Dota 3. That's not even out yet. This is not about MOBAs in general, which are going to be around for a while until something cooler shows up and says, hey, I'm the new FPS. I'm the new MOBA. I'm the new thing that everyone wants to be. It's such momentary knowledge.
Yeah. Well, I got a degree in Dota 2, but my concentration is in jungle ganking, so...
There is a viable market for this sort of thing, and then you can get a job as a professional gamer. I want to know
tough.
I want to know what the percentage is of. There are people who say, "Hey, I'm going to be a video game person. I'm going to do that professionally." Maybe you could be a Twitch streamer and be profitable, but who is paying their bills with this? I mean, what are the percentages compared to people who major in something else, like business or something? I wonder if there are a higher percentage of graduates that are paying their bills after graduating compared to something like this, like Dota 2. Maybe if it was just video games in general.
Maybe. I guess it seems kind of like having an art school degree or something at this point. Like your parents are just going to be disappointed and you're going to be in debt. But hey, you got to spend a lot of time playing Dota, which you could go to college and do anyways without having to take a class on it.
Speaking of art school, this is probably also going to be one of those things where it's similar to art school, and then you go out and you try to get a job in the real world, and they're like, well, you want us to pay you to play video games? I mean, there's other avenues, but the same thing with art, where you're like, hey, I do art, and they're like, oh, that means you enjoy it, so you should do it for free, right?
Yeah.
No. Pay artists, people. That's my little rant there at the end. That was a strange thing. When did we get a goddamn elevator? I don't want to answer any of these. Yes, I do. Okay, this thing. First question is from Ricardo. Hi guys, Nigerian Prince here. Wondering if you have any advice on starting a YouTube channel and growing it from nothing. I have about a dozen tech videos scripted. I am planning on diving head in the next few days. He's gonna dive head in? Head in the next few days. Okay, yeah, head in. You guys are my biggest information because of the awesome range of content you offer. And who better to ask for advice than the best? I'm also willing to accept a classic Logan threat instead of advice. Thanks for reading. Well, you're going to get advice. Mr. Nigerian Prince, that is a tough thing to do. It all depends on how much money you need to get by because, first off, you're not going to make enough money on YouTube to survive. Not going to happen off the bat. You're going to have a regular job for a good fat while until you develop momentum. And then you need to release videos. If you're doing YouTube, you're going to need to release videos almost every day because YouTube rewards people who release videos every day. They're not rewarding us because we're not doing everyday content. And then there's also the idea here that you're going to be on a grind. So you need to figure out a way to do content several times per week without getting burnt out. You may have a dozen, tech videos scripted, but you're going to need to figure out ways to, have more content coming out all the time. And the biggest trouble that you're going to run into here is trying to figure out what content to make. Now, you can just do reviews and that sort of thing, but you're going to need to build up a decent following before companies are going to start sending you products and that sort of thing. Let me see that one right there. This is really important here. I'll just hold this up, guys. Because when you have to be the boss and you used to be friends and you don't set up the clear boundaries of who's in charge of what, and then it comes down to the end when someone has to be in charge of stuff, people get egos and get weird, and then they kick each other in the penis or vagina. They'll kick wherever there's a soft piece of tissue. So anyway, all that stuff there. The other thing, you need to get your affiliate accounts going. Make sure that you have all those. So whenever you say like, hey, I'm checking out this new thing, put a link to your affiliate account because you exposed that product to these people. And so therefore you should get a little something on the side. And then the biggest thing I can say is there's a gazillion channels out there that are just doing like all the new thing. Like, hey, this is the new Sony camcorder. Let's just check out what this Sony camcorder is. Let me remind you something. You are not their marketing company. And it's cool that there's a gazillion people out there reviewing these things, and I'm sure that the companies love it when you just do a straight-up review. But why don't you do something with it, and then document how you're using it instead? So therefore, you're not just regurgitating their news or talking about all this really cool stuff. You're actually now doing cool stuff, and then talking about the cool stuff you're doing with these products. And that'll make you more of a personality, and that'll make people, come to see what you're up to. Instead of coming to see what's up with the Sony, they're going to come and see what you're doing with the Sony, if that makes any sense. So that's kind of the direction we're going right now too. We're kind of trying to get away from the whole stale, just this is the new thing, whatever. All right, this one is from Concept, Cinematic Concept, as a matter of fact. Being someone who has only recently gotten to real overclocking, I was wondering what temps I should be watching out for my CPU. Currently, my 3770K is running a new overclock that has it running at 4.8 gigahertz on a deep cool Game Max 400 cooler. At idle, I get mid-30s. You guys can see the rest of it on the screen here, like when home, blah, blah, blah. Then he gets mid-60s when he's editing rendering, mid-70s when he's editing rendering, and then what did I say? Mid-60s there. And then he says when he goes stress test, 80s. And he turns it off when it gets up to the 90s. So those things, I mean, you can get them really hot. But the main thing that you should be thinking about here is how much voltage are you sending into this. So I can't see your full overclock here. I don't know what you're running this at, 1.3 volts, 1.27 volts, 1.5 volts, 1.9 volts, whatever. Each CPU is going to have some different specifications that you need to stay under. And you can just actually sit down at your computer. This is for everybody out there. And if you want to know what the maximum is, just check your T-junction max or your TJ max, and that'll be the max temperature you should be hitting. You want to stay well under that. I like to stay 10 to 20 degrees under that at the maximum, most stressful situations. Now this CPU is okay. 80s, if you're running it like that all the time, I would not be happy. But sounds like that's only a rare thing when you're editing and rendering. 70s that's fine. Just check your voltages. And if you're running it at a voltage that's a little bit higher than it should be, you're going to greatly shorten the lifespan of your product. So that's the main thing. Just make sure your voltages are in the right area. And you're going to have to Google that for each of your different CPUs. I'm not going to sit here and tell you what every single CPU is. And guess what, guys? I don't know off the top of my head. Oh my God. I'm not the authority on everything. I actually have to use Google too, so you guys can do that. But I'll give you some ideas of where to start. See this one here? I'm throwing that one. Bye, everybody. Oh, shirts. This is a Burning Earth shirt. It's made out of good. Over here we have our hot.
Go to the store